Well, I woke up this morning from a reoccurring dream.
All right. Welcome. Hello, people. I'm Jaby KOAY, joined by ACHARA KIRK.
Yo.
If you guys haven't done so already, please do me a big favor. Hit that subscribe button, bell icon, on notifications. And also, we're looking at VFX artists react to Tollywood bad and great CG. Tollywood?
I know, they were specific this time.
My mind is blown.
They learned.
I had no idea they would ever do that because they always said Bollywood.
Yeah.
And so they said Tollywood this time.
Very specific.
It's very region specific.
Good job, Corridor crew.
Exactly.
Yes.
Excellent work. You get a gold medal. Or
Yes.
what do you call a blue ribbon?
Gold star.
Purple medal of heart. What's it called?
Purple heart?
Purple heart. There you go. The purple heart. VFX artists react to Tollywood bad and great CGI. They got RRR right there on the thumbnail. Is that your stomach?
That is my stomach.
Did you not eat enough food?
I ate
Fatty?
a lot of food.
You're like, I'm still hungry.
I was hungry. I made so much food and Jaby ate it all. And I was like, oh, I don't have
No, what happened was the char goes, do you want eggs and avocado toast, or would you like some chicken and rice that's left over? I go, yes. And she made both.
And then I gave him half of my spam masubi.
Oh, you didn't? You gave me like a quarter.
I'm not good at math. I gave you my food. My stomach is digesting the food. I'm sorry for any noises that my stomach makes going forward.
Oh, he's out! This is like a trademark Bollywood and Tollywood shot.
Animating animals is probably one of the hardest things to do. You don't have like reference of a tiger, like, you know,
Flipping front, flipping over. For as ridiculous as certain scenes can get, this one is actually pretty believable.
That looks great. Oh, the fire looks
Dude, that's so smart. That's so smart.
debit. Welcome to another episode of Visual Effects Artists React, and this week, something very special for you. The worldwide phenomenon, the global blockbuster from South Indian cinema that has swept the world.
RRR, for me, it actually sums up and utilizes all these crazy things you see in Bollywood and Tollywood movies for the purpose of telling a better story. Like, the action is crazy, it is out of the world, but also it's focused on storytelling. It's entertaining because it makes the characters cooler. The songs, the dances, they're not just random music videos dropped into the movie, they are story beats.
Yes.
And, oh my God.
It synthesizes
Seriously.
all of the elements that you think about when you think about Bollywood movies as these sort of visually over-the-top extravaganzas.
Yeah.
But it hyper-focuses it.
I've seen 2 films in theaters, like so far into 2022. Those 2 films are RRR and RRR.
Just so you all know, the guy in the middle, the Asian dude, his name is Freddie W. Like, in my early days of watching YouTube, I watched him religiously. Every video he put out, I watched all of them like at least 3-4 times. I was such a big fan of his. And I saw him once in person at YouTube Space LA, and I'm like, I don't even know what to say to this guy. I'm not gonna bother him. He probably gets approached all the time because he was going there to shoot something, and I was there to shoot something as well. But yeah, like, if you go into his backlog of videos, he's got these short videos that are just amazing, like super fun, super brilliant visual effects stuff, like him doing goofy stuff like parachuting out of his house to get eggs.
Right.
RRR is on Netflix, but it's in Hindi, not its original language. You should try to watch it.
Yes.
Telugu if you can. You should definitely try to get it in the theater.
And if you are gonna watch it, try and watch it with a group of people.
But you have to disregard some stuff. You have to throw away the bags of what you know about films. Take that bag of Oscars, throw in the dumpster. Get it out of here. It's trash.
So with that, let's dive into RRR.
It is amazing how popular this film has become in
2,000
America.
extras in this scene.
Indian films have very good crowd work and extra work. There's a really great VFX breakdown of the scene too, which shows you just excellent use of crowds.
Wow.
Look at that.
Oh, that's really clever.
Oh wait, so it's not even fully CG crowds. We're talking about like plates of crowds too.
Yeah, they really committed to like
Wow.
have some real stuff in there.
This is a blend of virtual.
Yeah, everybody against the fence is real because they're interacting with a real object. But right behind them, by about 10 people back, you get into
Wow.
CG people,
Whoa.
positive people.
Damn.
So he's been ordered to arrest one guy in this crowd of thousands. For as ridiculous as certain scenes can get in this film and others, this one is actually pretty believable. Like, you watch this guy go through the crowd and you're convinced that he's actually like controlling this.
What's great is also the shot design here lets you, like, you really, even in the wide, you catch exactly where he is.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
You can pull it off.
Yeah.
To be able to easily see him. Like, notice how everybody in the crowd is wearing headwear except for him.
And then great cutaways here to emphasize what's happening, right? So this punch here, boom, right? A little bit of CG blood to just emphasize each of these single hits. A tiny thing I noticed on my 4th rewatch of this was to make the crowd feel bigger, you have varying heights. It might be only like 2-3 layers of people deep, but then even further, right, see, you get little bits of the flag even further back, and you're like, oh, that's really just a clever way of implying more depth, right? Even though you won't visually see it by having some stuff higher up.
You're right.
I mean, it really seems like they're committed to having really practical stuff in the foreground at almost all times.
Yeah. All the stuff that your eye is focusing on.
The notion that this is more realistic is interesting, and I think that has something to do with the fact that when you are surrounded by a bunch of people, there's only so many people that can actually make physical contact with you at any given moment.
Yeah.
And so if you're just moving around wildly and you're striking people that are closest to you, it's not that easy for the person behind the person who's being struck down to get to you, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And also, it's not like he doesn't get beat up in the scene either.
In the process,
I think if they made it where he didn't have any blood or he wasn't
he's
hurt
invincible.
at all, then it would be hard to believe. But he goes through some shit, but he gets his man.
It's all about the particulate and the smoke in the air that really blends it out. And the use of slow-mo here is very much, reminiscent of, I think, what John Woo does so well, which is using slow-mo as a means to emphasize and draw out beats. And it's like over and over again, the use of speed and speed ramping.
And rhythm too, like we're slow, he's hurt. And then now that he's refreshed, he gets one breath, gentle push in, getting that rhythm back. And boom,
now we're back
boom,
in.
boom, 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 and the rhythm's fast again.
Yeah.
And he's 100% ready to go.
Shot. I love that.
That's a
Pause for
great
second on
shot,
that.
yeah.
Now, is that comp?
That's a comp.
That's definitely a comp. Wait, I've seen so many eyeball reflection shots or sunglass reflection shots in these types of films, but this is probably the best one because first off, they're distorting it. It looks like it's reflecting on a curved surface properly.
The reflections
eyebrows.
Of his eyelashes,
The
dude.
eyelashes. There's so much detail put into it to the point where it's like, is that 100% real? His eye would have to be a chrome ball. Or his pupil would have to be a chrome ball to
You
get
see
that
a camera
shot.
in the reflection too, also.
Oh, you would.
Where?
You're right.
Oh.
This single shot still
You
tells the
would,
story of the
he
scenes.
said.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
one person against a huge crowd and him intimidating, right?
Yeah.
It's almost POV, but you're seeing it through his. It's just incredible. Oh,
Yeah, one glance, and that's all he needs to push him back.
Yeah, exactly.
Look how many asses were kicked.
All right, we've introduced Ram.
Yeah.
This is, by the way, maybe the 2 greatest character introductions in a movie
So
you've ever
good.
seen.
Dude, this introduction is so dope.
And remember, too, the language of the movie, they both represent the 2 elements, right?
Yes.
So Ram's supposed to be fire, and then NTR's supposed to be water.
Yeah, he had the torch that hits the gate before he reveals him.
Yep.
And here,
True,
Ram
And
water
here, it's like
immediately.
it starts on a reflection before we turn around.
That's a fun shot.
It's weird, this blood looks perfectly real at first, and then it gets a little CG at the end.
It's totally, there is so much CG blood drips in this movie.
Yeah.
That's true.
It's probably an element that they poured down like something and comped it.
I couldn't tell.
I couldn't. I thought it looked really good.
One of the things that's really interesting due to, sort of the cultural sensitivities towards animals. Animals in these movies are all CG, right? They don't mess with the possibility of harm to any animals.
By the way, do you guys notice that he turned into a CG man there?
Yeah. That little blend there. There's a blend.
Yeah, real.
Real,
It goes out of
real.
And then
camera.
little
That makes it
Texas switch
easier.
to a CG double.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, what?
I mean, that's an old trick. They did that in The Matrix, where Morpheus says, "You just have to believe, Neo," and then he runs and jumps. And when they're in the construct or whatever, it's the roof jump. You see Morpheus leave the frame, and then it becomes CG Morpheus as he's landing on the other
Oh, gotcha.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, what a shot.
And what's great about slow-mo, by the way, is in the world of slow-mo, we don't have any visual context for what should look right.
Yeah.
So you can get away with animation to just emphasize the swipe or whatever. Even if you played that back at normal speed, it might look weird, but it doesn't matter because it works in the slow-mo context.
So something that's looked really nice here, but when they hit the ground, there's a bunch of CG leaves boom, right there.
Oh, yeah.
And that like,
Yeah.
really sells the contact.
Whoa. Yeah, those look nice.
They put a lot of effort into these tiger shots.
Animating animals is probably one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah,
like
I
if you're doing a
bet.
human being, it's like, oh, I need to dance and do this weird move. It's like, well, I can look in a mirror or record myself with a phone. You don't have like reference of a tiger, like, you know,
Flipping
doing
over.
I need a tiger doing the semi-truck crash from the Dark Knight.
That's
This is a
true.
one
Yeah.
shot Shanky.
I love that.
Oh, yeah.
The punch zoom into a different perspective. I loved it though.
Well, I mean, there's other shots that are janky, but look how good this shot
It's a
looks.
great
That shot looks excellent now.
But what a good setup for like a man versus a tiger. He needs to stay calm.
He's a stay calm.
He needs to roar back. Use
Yeah.
Yes, it works every time.
It never gets old.
The tension of that shot is incredible too, right? Because he's in full flex, but the whole theater is losing their minds.
He scratches all the itch that are like the best WWE matches scratch.
Yes, agreed.
There's parts like this that are so well done that are easily on par, if not better than
Like
stuff
that's
you see in
great.
movies.
That's
Yeah,
a
this looks
great
amazing.
shot. It's also shot choice too, because there's an angle where that shot is almost impossible to do, right? Like, but then if you're coming behind and you're letting the foreground be the tiger, you can get away with not necessarily being exactly where is his hand positioned into it, because it's covered, right?
I have to imagine one of the hardest things for the VFX team and the director here in this scene was have it where it's like the tiger's falling asleep, it's struggling, but it's still scratching him a little bit. Enough that it really hurts, but not enough that it ruins him. Like, you need to hit that story beat.
Because it needs to communicate that's still dangerous, right? Because there's a movie where it's like he goes and boom, he hits a tranquilizer dart and boom, it's down, right?
Yeah.
It's like no, the struggle continues still. There is already a built-in suspension of disbelief whenever we choose to watch a movie. If the purpose of the shot is like the tiger's chasing him and it's not selling a big story beat, then it's like, okay, it literally doesn't matter as much compared to the story beat here where he's gonna cradle it. That you can't be distracted by, oh, this looks bad. You can forgive it because you're forgiving the movie because it's a movie.
I mean, VFX is almost like a really abstracted version of acting, where it's like, when you're in the middle of action, the acting's not super important. But when like an actor is like having a very intimate moment with another actor, it's like, you can't get distracted by bad
Exactly.
acting.
Throughout this movie,
yeah,
they do
yeah.
an incredible job of making sure to focus their strengths at the points that they actually need it.
They do that for over 2,800 VFX shots.
Yeah, it's
Oh my
crazy.
God. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, the best looking version of that tiger was when he was cradling it.
Yeah.
That was when it looked the most real, and that was when it was the most important that it looked real.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a nice train. That's CG. 100% CG, by the way.
Yeah. Are you
kidding me?
No, that shot of the front of the train right there that we just saw was 100% CG.
Okay,
Wow.
But like I saw they made miniatures for this whole train.
Oh, we'll
Right.
get to that.
Yeah.
You only
Video
make
about
miniatures
that.
when you want to blow them up. Classic. Gotta hit the
The
sparks.
sparks from the brakes. Wait, so the fire shots of the miniatures? Because obviously we got CG fire up
CG.
here.
You fire, yep.
But then this next shot is quite
That's
nice looking.
miniature.
Yeah.
It looks really real.
Oh, that fire looks
Dude, that's so smart. That's so smart. All right, we have a CG train for the close-ups, and then we have a miniature for the destruction and the physics of it. Usually it's either backwards or like flipped, or like completely one and the other.
Yeah.
I've never seen the use of that where we're gonna use CG for everything except for when physics takes over.
That's a real size right there, full size thing. This is all wire
that
work.
they just tipped.
Yep, but this is all in camera here, except for the background, which is comped in.
One of the tricks I always feel like that I see is that explosions are very bright, and oftentimes real explosions will blow out. Like you have elements of pure white in there.
Yeah, look at that.
But then CG explosions, every VFX artist is like, but I put all this effort in these flames. I want to see all the details of the flames.
I
And
know,
It's like,
that's like the biggest gripe. Nico mentions it all the time too. It's like the classic Marvel movie explosion where you just have like the super detailed and flat explosion.
It's like just brown.
Keep in mind, if you're compositing an explosion, that is exactly what you want to simulate to make it look real.
Yep.
yeah. Right when the flames are at his hands, you get the proper halation.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Proper
Little-
halation on the finger.
Woo!
Good work.
That's what it's called, halation.
Halation. yeah.
It's not
Halation.
called light wrap or whatever.
Bloom.
I think halation is like the technical
Okay.
optics term
So-
for it.
Because
Here we hit.
all right. Bloom is when light gets diffracted passing through your lens. Halation is when it hits your film and causes the silver crystals next to where the light is hitting to also change color and expose.
Oh, because
I
it
don't.
spills out.
Okay,
On the
Yeah.
what? I didn't understand the difference at all.
Super nerd.
You understood? I didn't understand that. It sounded like the exact same thing to me.
Let's try it again.
Yeah,
All right. Bloom is
Light dispersion caused by lens diffraction. Light dispersion caused by reflection and scattering of light through film. It still sounds like the same concept to me.
film and causes the silver crystals next to where the light is hitting to also change color and expose.
Oh, because it spills out on the sensor or the film?
On film.
So the first one, dispersion, is just about the lens. It's just limited to the lens.
Through the lens,
Halation is bringing into conversation the film or the sensor.
In the film, yeah.
Okay.
Game recognizing game.
Game recognizing game. 2 hand signals and like, I'm just with you.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's rock and roll.
Buddies.
And now here's like, all right.
Oh,
Zoop.
yes!
Whoop.
Yes! You can't start a horse without having the horse start up.
He didn't even tell him the whole plan,
Dude,
by the way.
the torque on that horse is so...
There's still more secrets left to this plan that we don't know yet. See, that is not style. That is substance.
What?
I actually read a very interesting comment
So the flag
about
isn't just because they're heroes of the
about
country,
this.
which obviously they are. But
Yeah, the whole time you're like, what? This seems excessive.
Still,
Why?
that's a
What's
little
with the
excessive.
flag? This seems. What is the style with the flag?
Any other Bollywood and Tollywood movie would just be style with the flag.
You fool! You fool! What's happening here? You keep asking, what is the white flag is wet? Why? What would it?
What?
There's only one answer, and that's. You tell me that there's not a greater wingman move than knowing that your buddy is going to need to protect himself from the flames.
yeah.
And then the build here.
And then he's like,
So I actually read an interesting comment in the comment for this video. Someone said thematically, it's also important because Ram starts out with the flag because his whole thing is he's fighting for the country.
Yeah.
And then he passes it to Junior NTR's character and he has the child and he comes in the beginning for the child, right? And then they swap it over because they realize the importance of each other's missions and they each take it up later on.
Oh, gotcha.
Which I thought was a really interesting, smart observation about the theme of the movie. I love that. I just wanted to share that. But yeah, go look for it in the comment to this original video.
there we go.
Dun 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 dun. Titles!
How far are we in this movie? So how far is this? 40 minutes.
40 minutes, and now the main title hits. That's a transition. They introduce themselves, it transitions into the logo of the film.
I love how excited they
They would be
are.
like, hey, we acknowledge that what we just did was kind of ridiculous.
That was crazy.
Oh yeah, they even put them up there. They didn't have to, but they did.
Wait, are they actually holding on?
them, dude.
Wait, hold on. Stop. Freeze. No, they're holding hands. They're
Wait, what?
like maybe there could be a cable connecting them that's like either on the back of their wrists.
Oh, by the way, that's the CG horse in that shot right there.
That's a CG horse.
Oh, it's a CG
It has to
horse.
stop. It has to stop and let them go off.
Yeah, dude, check out the CG
Wow.
horse rig.
Yo, what?
And look at his little bike trainer wheels thing. So he can do his like, move every time.
Turn, yeah.
So the actor doesn't have to like
that's
risk himself.
awesome.
There is an incredible scene, a dance number, if you will,
So
called
good.
Natu Natu. However, we can't include it on this episode on YouTube or else, well, we'll get flagged. So if you want to watch it, head over to corridordigital.com and watch the extended version where we
It's the greatest dance sequence in cinematic history.
head over there if you want to check it out.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Boom.
CG.
Get out of the way.
No.
I think did they flip it? I think they flipped just looked pretty good. I don't know, you tell me.
I think that's a CG car.
Oh, what a shot.
Love it.
Oh,
What a good
yes.
payoff. He finally makes his move. He
Yeah.
attacks the British, and he does it with all the creatures he's been capturing in the forest.
So this does a very John Woo kind of Hong Kong cinema thing here where we're jumping through time, right? Like this is out of time. We're taking our beat here. We're taking a long time here, right? And now we're coming back to it. So all that stuff again is like the sort of cutting in a way that is emphasizing emotion over temporal logistics.
It's anime.
It's anime.
I mean, you said it.
Get off me.
When we were watching the movie and reviewing it, you're like, this is like an anime. And were people kind of upset that you said that?
Some people were quite annoyed that I compared it to anime, and I don't know why.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that just the logistics and the way it moves and the storytelling and stuff, it has that sense of anime, and that's not a bad thing. Like, people love anime.
Some people just get very, very vexed, even remotely comparing anything. Like saying Ram Charan, he's a man. Christian Bale, also a man. They're both men. How
dare you?
To even compare, like the fact that they're both dudes, it's just like, it doesn't matter how I compare. It's like, why do you keep comparing things? Oh, I don't know, shit. That's a movie. Thor's also a movie. This is what I do. I'm just here to apparently make you annoyed. The time dilation and the movement of the characters and the use of gravity or anti-gravity in terms of like making it more fantastical is like an anime, like old HK cinema.
Yeah,
where
they reference that too.
You'd have characters who are like fighting in the air, doing choreography in the air, and it's like you're just suspending your disbelief, and you believe these two characters are fighting on their descent back to Earth.
And it takes minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that stunt guy just does the perfect
Flip.
Yeah. I remember that.
That's called like a gainer, right? Or
No, it's not.
A header?
A header, yeah.
Like you can feel like the tension
Gainer's
of the
the opposite.
animation, like almost breaking. The header actually
brings it
works.
around. Yeah.
And the animation of that leopard spinning around, like it fits.
Can we just pause for 1 second to just acknowledge and appreciate the filmmaking artistry that goes into deciding not to do this whole sequence as a stupid oneer? I'm tired of stupid oneers. We're at a point where people know there are cuts in oneers. Like, it's not.
I'm so sick of wonders at this point.
Are you really?
Yes, because they're usually fake. After 1917, I'm like, I think we've conquered this. Let's stop doing oneers. I see it everywhere where it's like they keep having these cut points, and I'm like, you guys, it's sacrificing the quality overall of this scene because you're so fixated on this really cool trick. But it's like, we don't need, no one cares except for you. Let that go and just focus on making this as nice as possible, because the wonder is really not that important. There are cases where a wonder will help facilitate making you feel like you're really part of something.
Yeah.
But unless you've got the budget to make sure it's perfect, like 1917, don't bother.
Yeah, and I think that's important as well as a filmmaker or any artist, is to not become too self-indulgent, is to realize, okay, sometimes maybe a wonder is the best shot, but sometimes it's not. And to be able to reel yourself back or surround yourself with people who will tell you the truth and be like, yo, not the best idea.
Yeah, I mean, you get these every now and then with movies. It's very interesting, like the Hitchcock effect of where the camera's pushing forward and zooming out at the same time. That was the shot that like everybody was using. And then after The Matrix, everyone was doing bullet time.
Yeah.
And then at some point, for whatever reason, and the last time I saw it used well was in Whiplash, where, you have this profile of a character who's driving or in the backseat of a car, and then a truck hits the car. The wonder is the new bullet time, where it's like, make it like one long shot. I'm glad he pointed that out.
We're at a point where people know there are cuts in oneers. Like, it's not cool. It's not cool anymore.
Yeah.
Stop with the useless, boring oneers. Filmmakers, I'm telling you this right now, you're not cool for doing a oneer anymore. Nobody is impressed anymore. Nobody thinks it's cool, and nobody likes it.
Yeah.
And because of that, nobody likes you or your movies.
They're boring.
Stop doing boring oneers.
Super boring.
Stop doing boring oneers. No, listen, a good oneer, there's plenty of good oneers out there.
Yeah.
But they're used to like bridge together, and again, they don't overstay their welcome.
Yeah.
There's a purpose to it.
Sure,
So this is like a long single shot. To show what? To show the chaos and sort of the scope of what's happening here, right?
The best wonder I've ever seen, outside of 1917, the Woody Harrelson show with Matthew McConaughey, True Detective. And like, there was a wonder in that was amazing. It was like one of the best I'd ever seen. A lot of people like to tout the Michael Keaton movie Birdman, but I kind of hated that. I hated it because it felt kind of clunky to me. And it was
the purpose of this, it's the range of animals, even the horseback sort of folks can't even handle it, and the punctuation mark, and we're starting a fire. That's like a technical wonder. But like, they're cutting out of it by a certain point.
yeah.
Uh-oh.
What an intro.
Fire showing up.
Yeah.
Love the detail that like the power of these horses are gonna even part, like, right, the two most dangerous animals that you've seen up until this point, artificially keeping him very dark in the front, right? There's even this next shot here, it's almost completely, that's completely ridiculous, right? That's almost 300, right? It looks like a shot from Sin City almost, but like, but the purpose is it's dark. We're gonna flip this, get a low angle of our guy walking Oh my, come on.
This is like a trademark Bollywood and Tollywood shot. Something flipping in slow motion above a cop.
Yeah, but the difference here is that's real.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's not, it looks so real.
It looks epic.
Yeah, and the fact that you can still make out the details on his face is pretty remarkable.
This is a trademark shot.
And then, of course, the wheel hits him.
Oh, the wheel hit him.
Yeah. This coming up here, I think, is one of the most sublime theatrical moments I've ever had, which is the key shot. So the key falls out of his hand.
It was so close. It was literally in his grasp.
He's coming in and out of focus, and then like you can track the moment it goes, and then he's gonna come into focus one more time, and now his look is different, right?
That's true. Yeah.
And now you know it's like, no, now they're against each other. How hard this hits too. Boom, right? It's almost a jump cut to emphasize the speed of it.
This is that Dragon Ball Z action now where like very singular, powerful strikes here.
Good crisp choreo with the emphasis on the hits, like low angle, but like just great choreo there.
And using smoke that's backlit behind them so you can silhouette them and read their body shapes.
Oh, nice, yeah.
Uh-oh, 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 fire. Yes!
Yeah.
Kudos to the VFX artist on that shot. Every single time I see it, that little arc of the background rocket over Ram's head, just
Yeah.
It's like sometimes you're just like, you know what? Those Bezier curves just hit. Sometimes those Bezier curves just hit different, and this is one of the shots where them Bezier curves just hit different.
Whoever was placing them knew where to
They
place
knew
them.
exactly.
Like-
It's like a painting, dude.
They didn't even have to decide where they went. They were like, oh, this is where they belong. Well, that shot could be complete chaos if done incorrectly.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Like
No,
you're watching just like, oh, what the heck?
We should pause it here. Showing you the rest of this fight would be a disservice to you. You should go watch the movie. I would love to hear what your favorite parts of RRR.
Yeah, just talk about the movie.
Let's just talk about the movie. I just want you guys to talk to me about the movie. Tell me what you think of it. Tell me your stories. How did you discover it? Where'd you watch it? Was it awesome?
You know any
etc.
fun facts that you want to share with other viewers or ourselves? Enlighten us. We barely scratched the surface. There's multiple scenes which I would even argue are even better scenes than everything we just watched, and we will leave them for you to discover.
With you and your friends.
You and your friends in a movie theater.
Just try and get as many people together as you can, because this is a movie that you will want to stand up and scream at.
Yeah.
Consider subscribing.
You know what? You're welcome. You know what? You're welcome. If you hadn't heard about this movie at this point and this is driving you to watch the movie, you're welcome.
This all started here. It started with this man being like, hey guys, I've discovered something. I think you need to see it.
I pushed hard for this movie. I continue to push hard for this movie because I want more movies like this.
Yeah, but yeah, no, I love it, and I love the response actually, because I've been hearing from friends who are not Indian, just American friends who are like, did you watch that movie RRR? And I'm like, yes! And I'm so happy that you've watched it too. Because, and I've said this before and I'm gonna say this again, I think this film is brilliant, and I think it really translates well to a non-Indian audience, because in addition to having all those wonderful things that they talked about, like all of the spectacle, and it really is a grand spectacle, it's also a very moving story at its heart. I think my mom even watched it. Like, my mom doesn't watch a lot of things, I'll tell you that, unless it's a Thai soap opera.
Once it reaches your mom, it's reached everywhere.
That's right.
That's the end of it. Like Facebook.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not the end of RRR. It's just the beginning. So many more theaters here in LA are also bringing it back. I think that's awesome.
We're having a weird flow with movies lately because, like, typically, okay, Multiverse of Madness, for case in point, right? That comes out, and then like a month later, it's on your streaming platform, Disney Plus, which is odd. So the theatrical run isn't like that long, or at least its length isn't that important anymore. I guess Disney feels like it got the money it was gonna get, and so it puts it on streaming, and people who still want to watch it in theaters can, but otherwise it's in the convenience of your home now, right?
Yeah.
Whereas things like Everything Everywhere All at Once have had like a very long run. It is available for streaming now, but for the same price you'd pay to watch it in theaters.
Yeah.
It's not just part of your Disney Plus package. RRR is the same thing where it's like, wow, this has like been in theaters for a while. Like, this is ongoing.
Well, it's not even that. I've talked to someone and they were like, so they watched it on Netflix.
I didn't realize it was on Netflix already.
So Johnny Rome watched it on Netflix, and then they were like, oh, I so want to see this in a theater. I'm so sad that I didn't get to see it. And I'm like, well, dude, I happen to know it's coming back next month in a theater. And then Johnny was like, oh, I'm definitely going to see it in a theater now. So I think that even if people had seen it on streaming or whatever, it's such a cool experience. Like even your brother watching Everything Everywhere All at Once for the first time on the TV was like, I have to go watch this in a theater now just to get that full experience. And this definitely is one where you'd want to see it at least once in a movie theater.
Yeah. You guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed this reaction discussion. Let us know your feelings in the comments below. Thanks for hanging out. I'm Jaby KOAY. This is
ACHARA KIRK.
Peace out.